where we now know of at least 200 incidents, but there are other places such as Vietnam.
I want to thank you very much, Charles Hanley, for joining us, special correspondent for the Associated Press, written extensively on the Korean War, has co-authored the book, The Bridge at No Gun Re, A Hidden Nightmare from the Korean War. And for our radio listeners, you can go to our website at Democracy Now! To see the photos that Charles Hanley was just describing the killings in South Korea. As we turn now, finally, to another story about Korea. For the past 2 months, protesters have been filling the streets of Seoul, condemning a decision to lift a ban on imported beef from the United States. On Wednesday, I talked to Michael Hansen in Seoul, senior scientist for Consumers Union. He was there testifying before the South Korean National Assembly at a special committee hearing on mad cow disease, and I asked him to explain what's happening there.
What it's all about is there was a deal that was struck between Korea and the United States on April 18th, and that deal would completely open the market in Korea to U.S. beef. Previously, they had only allowed a small amount in. When they opened the market on April 18th, that was a controversial issue. However, there was a TV program that aired on April 29th called PD Diary, and within 2 days after that program aired on April 29th, that set off this massive outpouring, and on Friday, May 2nd, there were 20,000 people in the streets of Seoul, and there have been thousands of people in the streets every day since then. I was actually on that original program and have been in the media here regularly since then, as the deal that was struck on April 18th has actually been thrown overboard, and then they brought it back in again, and there's been this back and forth, and it's caused Lee Myung-bak, his popularity has dropped to virtually nothing, and what's happening now is the opposition is trying to get this beef deal renegotiated, and the people are in the streets until that happens.
Explain what is the Koreans' concern with U.S. beef.
The Korean concern is with U.S. beef is they're concerned about mad cow disease, particularly the fact that older animals are being allowed into this country, and so they're concerned about that risk. They know how bad the situation is in the U.S., how little we test and look at that, so they're just very concerned that they could be exposed to mad cow disease, and it should be pointed out that the Koreans actually have genetically turn out to be more susceptible to these prion diseases, and if you look at what they do eat intestines and other parts of the animal, which could be at higher risk of mad cow disease.
Let's step back for a moment. Talk about what mad cow disease is.
Mad cow disease is a fatal brain-wasting disease that occurs in cattle. It was a big issue in the late 1980s in the United Kingdom, where hundreds of thousands of cattle had to be slaughtered because of this disease. It then spread to Europe and wreaked havoc in the late 90s and early 2000s. And we've had mad cow in the United States. Our first case was in December of 2003. We've had a couple cases since then, and what happens is export markets dry up. So the Korean market was closed and the Japanese market, and those are among the Japanese market is the largest export market for U.S. beef, and Korea is number 3. So this was about trying to reopen the Korean market, and they were trying to do that because Korea desperately wanted the U.S.-Korea free trade agreement.
What leads you to believe there's a problem, or the Koreans to believe there's a problem 5 years after the ban was imposed?
Well, that actually hasn't been reported properly. 5 years ago, which was when the U.S. had its first case of mad cow disease, the export markets disappeared, which is the U.S. did the same thing. Any country where BSE appears, the U.S. stops imports from those countries. What happened is then Korea partially opened up their market back in 2005. okay, in early 2006, they allowed meat to come back in, but it had to be from animals younger than 30 months of age, and it couldn't contain any bones. And so what the concern was is what they did in April is that basically this agreement would have allowed meat from animals of any age to come into Korea, and even if there were more cases of mad cow in the U.S., that agreement said that Korea could not exclude U.S. beef. And so the many Korean people viewed that as their national sovereignty being sold away and potential public health concerns. And so that's why the people have been very concerned. It should also be said the media has paid a huge amount of attention to this, and the original program that was on, I guess you could say it was a little bit sensationalistic, but it appeared to resonate, and there's been sort of fighting ever since.
Michael Hansen is with Consumers Union. We spoke to him in Seoul, South Korea, where the mad cow debate is raging, bringing tens of thousands of people out into the streets. And that does it for our show. If you'd like a copy, you can go to our website at democracynow.org. Democracy Now! Is produced by Mike Burke, Sharif Abdul-Qudus, Aaron Mata, Angeli Kamet, Jeffrey Hagerman, Steve Martinez, Nicole Salazar, Hani Massoud, Robbie Karen, Mike DeFilippo, Miguel Noguera, and Peter Curries, our engineers. Special thanks also to Becca Staley, Hugh Grant, Angie Kiefer, Samantha Chambly. I want to wish Angeli Kamet a very happy birthday. Happy birthday, Angeli. I'm Amy Goodman with Angeli Kamet. Thanks for joining us.